question to Professor Rycroft, which is how do you see the political within the academic social responsibility? Like Professor Chattopadhyay talked about the giving back to the society and how it depends upon the positional reality of who is giving back and to whom it is going back to. And so in that context as well, how do you see the political? Political, I mean in terms of both ideology theory and the episteme of the political, and as well as the action, the very practicality of the political. How do you see that within the ASR? And do you think that politicizing academia is also included in the reach of the academic social responsibility? So how do you approach that? And my
Thanks for your great questions. Just remembering back to a previous seminar, I asked the panel 3 questions, and I thought, am I pushing the boat out? But I'm in good company because you also asked 3 questions, which is really encouraging. So it's a very difficult question, in fact, to answer in a nutshell, and I think it merits a much broader and also more diverse set of responses than what I'm about to share, but I'll nonetheless share a few responses. So, firstly, giving back is one way of thinking about social responsibility, but there's also many other ways of thinking about social responsibility. It could be that we start with the society as enabling the university in the first place, bringing responsibilities to the university to then nurture and develop in their own way. That could be another way of thinking about social responsibility that's differently formulated. It's not about what an academic or a student does. It's about what society brings to the project of higher education in the first place. And I think that's potentially a relevant point to raise in this context, where we're operating within a ministry where higher education has an important role, and where the government wants to ensure good practice through universities, for universities, by universities. So that's why I think USR has a particular, in a sense, need to recognise social responsibility, more from that starting point rather than that other one. But going perhaps into a more personal answer, I think that it's important that ASR remains open to numerous philosophies of politics, so political philosophies. Thank you so much. So, the political aspects of academic social responsibility need to remain plural and pluralistic. I think one way into it could be to understand, how are power relations reconfigured through good academic social responsibility as opposed to tokenistic academic social responsibility, for example. If I may just indulge in one criticism, I have encountered in the past people who think they are developing and implementing good university social responsibility by having so-called kind of partner villages or something like that, whereby our academics do good for your village kind of thing. And that seems to me to be rather limited conceptually, and also in terms of the richness of the concept, particularly when it's encoded in a more kind of civilizational march, towards progress, or towards, actually in very real terms, maybe experienced as assimilation. So I'm not going to name the state, I'm not going to name the university, I'm not going to name the communities, but it's that kind of attitude towards USR that I think is problematic, and that perhaps colleagues within the room can dial into to ensure that it doesn't become a hegemonic attitude across all India. Excuse me if I've stepped out of time on that one. Final point though about global politics, because a lot of what is going on here should, I think, resonate outside of India. And so organizations like UNESCO, which is a United Nations organization, is a political organization, has for a long time been trying to cultivate certain values towards things like university social responsibility, cultural diversity, and so forth. And you asked the question whether any kind of politics should inform it, and I'm thinking that probably not in rigid or kind of codified terms, probably not. But maybe in ethical terms, there's a certain set of learnings that we can take from different polities, different political kinds, well, different political groupings, different political philosophies. So I don't think it's going to ever remain neutral. I don't think it's going to be non-political. So it's certainly a question that needs further thought, obviously.